Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a room, seen someone standing in the corner, calm, collected, not saying much, but everyone's eyes are drawn to them. You can feel their presence. They don't beg for attention. They command it. That's silent attraction, and guess what? It's not magic. It's not luck. It's not about looks or money or being the loudest person in the room. It's about habits, small, subtle things you do that create a powerful vibe people can't ignore. And if you stick with me to the end of this video, I'm going to give you 11 changing habits that will make you silently attractive without saying a single word. These are the habits that shift how people feel about you the moment you walk in. These habits will make you unforgettable, so don't go anywhere, because you're about to unlock a level of presence most people will never even understand. Silent attraction is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful forces in human interaction. We live in a world obsessed with noise, louder voices, bigger personalities, and constant stimulation. But there's a quiet force moving just beneath that chaos, a different kind of magnetism that doesn't yell, doesn't beg, and doesn't try too hard. It's the kind of presence that walks into a room and instantly shifts the energy, not with noise, but with stillness, not with charm, but with calm. This is the essence of silent attraction, and it's more powerful than people realize. Think about the last time someone captivated your attention without saying much. They weren't trying to be noticed, they weren't performing, and yet you noticed them. Why? Because silent people who carry themselves with intention and confidence speak a language that's older than words. It's instinctual, it's nonverbal. It operates on a frequency that says, I don't need to convince you of anything. I already know my worth. That kind of energy doesn't just get attention, it commands respect. People confuse charisma with being extroverted or loud, but the truth is that charisma has less to do with how much you say and more to do with what people feel when you're around. Silent attraction is about what you radiate when you aren't speaking. It's in the way you hold eye contact, the way you listen without interrupting, the way you hold yourself when no one's looking. When someone has developed a strong inner world, a solid sense of self, they don't need to perform to be seen. Their energy does the work for them, and people pick up on that immediately, even if they can't explain it. Most people talk to fill space. They talk out of nervousness. They talk because silence makes them uncomfortable. But when someone is comfortable in silence, they flip the power dynamic. They become the person who controls the pace of the interaction. They become the one others adjust to. Silent attraction isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being intentional, grounded, and fully present. And that presence becomes magnetic. It's felt. It pulls people in. In conversations, the one who listens more than they speak often ends up being the most influential. Why? Because they make others feel seen. They absorb more. They respond with precision instead of impulse. That kind of behavior signals confidence, patience, and power. You start to realize that being attractive isn't about dominating a room, it's about owning your energy. And when you do, people naturally start leaning in. They want to know more. They respect the mystery. They feel the strength in your restraint. The most charismatic people in the world aren't those who are trying to impress. They're the ones who don't need to. Their silence is deliberate, their presence is undeniable, and their energy says everything that their words don't have to. Confidence is one of the most attractive qualities a person can possess, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. Too often, people think being confident means being loud, dominant, or constantly putting yourself on display. That's not real confidence. That's insecurity wearing a costume. Real confidence is quiet. It's calm. It's grounded. It doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't need validation. It shows up fully and allows others to feel safe, not small. The kind of confidence that makes people stop and take notice isn't flashy. It's not built on ego. It's not fueled by applause. It's built on self-awareness and internal security. It's the kind of confidence that walks into a room without needing to be the center of attention and still manages to shift the entire energy of that space. People feel it, even if they can't quite put their finger on what it is. It's the look in your eyes. It's the way you carry yourself. It's your body language, your stillness, your intentionality. When you operate from a calm, grounded place, you move differently. You speak differently. You become magnetic without even trying. There's a huge difference between confidence and arrogance, and it's all about energy. Arrogance is performative. It's loud. It's desperate. It walks into a room and immediately starts working for approval, constantly seeking to impress, dominate, or show off. Confidence doesn't chase attention. It attracts it. Arrogance demands the spotlight. Confidence is the spotlight. And the truth is, people can feel the difference instantly. One repels, the other draws people in. One makes others feel lesser, the other makes others feel inspired. Mastering a calm, grounded presence means you're not easily shaken. You don't react impulsively. You don't over-explain, over-apologize, or shrink yourself to fit into spaces. You trust yourself enough to sit with silence. You trust yourself enough to wait, to listen, to speak only when your words carry weight. You walk into conversations with clarity, not with the need to dominate or control. People sense that, and they lean in, because calm confidence creates safety. It signals maturity. It tells the world, I know who I am, and I don't need to convince anyone else of it. One of the most powerful forms of silent attraction is being unbothered. Not detached, not emotionless, but simply unaffected by the noise around you. That's what grounded confidence gives you. The ability to stay centered no matter what's happening. You're not trying to control how others see you. You're not worried about being liked or admired. You're simply present, and that presence becomes your power. You stop leaking energy. You stop seeking validation. And when that happens, people start to take you more seriously. They start to respect your space. They start to sense something different about you, something rare. That difference is internal stability. The ability to be still in a world that's constantly shouting, the ability to observe without reacting, to respond instead of explode, that's the kind of presence that doesn't just attract people, it calms them. It opens space for real connection. It invites curiosity instead of competition. When someone exudes confidence without arrogance, they don't just walk into a room and make a statement. They make everyone else feel like they can breathe. And that's rare. Because in a world that's constantly trying to prove something, being comfortable in your own skin without needing to shout about it is one of the most attractive things you can ever master. Most people focus so much on what to say that they completely overlook the power of what they communicate without saying a word. The truth is, your body speaks before your mouth does. In fact, nonverbal communication accounts for the majority of how people perceive you. That means your posture, your eye contact, your facial expressions, and even the way you breathe are telling a story long before your words do. And if you're not intentional about that story, people will still write one about you based on what they see, feel, and subconsciously sense. Start with posture. The way you carry yourself sets the tone for how people interpret your presence. Standing tall, shoulders back, chest open. These aren't just physical cues, they're signals of self-respect, confidence, and openness. A slouched posture doesn't just look weak, it feels weak. It tells the room that you're unsure, that you'd rather not be seen. But when you move with purpose, take up space calmly, and plant yourself with grounded energy, people feel it. You don't have to say a word to be noticed. Then there's eye contact. Maintaining intentional, calm eye contact builds trust instantly. It tells the person across from you that you're present, that you're listening, and that you're not afraid of being seen. Most people either avoid eye contact or overdo it. True mastery is about balance, Hold the gaze long enough to connect, then release. It's a silent dialogue that communicates strength, respect, and calm awareness. It's the difference between being invisible and being felt, and your face, your expressions matter. A relaxed face, a subtle smile, an eyebrow raised in curiosity. These things say more than a 5-minute speech. People respond to what they perceive emotionally. If you look tense, distracted, or disinterested, they'll mirror that energy. But if you remain open, calm, and attentive, you draw people into your space. You create comfort, you radiate leadership without having to ask for it. When you master non-verbal communication, you no longer have to fight to be heard. You become someone who people naturally want to listen to. You make people feel safe, seen, and respected, and that's a language more powerful than words will ever be. There's something magnetic about someone who truly listens, not the kind of listening where you're just waiting for your turn to talk, but real listening, the kind that makes the other person feel like they're the only one in the room. In a world full of noise where everyone is trying to talk over each other, being the person who listens is rare, and rare is attractive. Because when you give someone your full attention without interrupting, judging, or jumping in with your own story, you give them something they don't even know they're starving for: presence. Most people listen to reply. But truly attractive people listen to understand. They don't interrupt. They don't finish your sentence for you. They create space, and in that space, trust builds, connection grows. Something subtle but powerful happens when someone feels genuinely heard. They associate that warmth, that acceptance with you, and suddenly they're drawn to your energy without knowing why. It's because you didn't try to steal the spotlight. You gave it away, and in doing so, you became unforgettable. The real trick isn't just staying quiet while the other person talks. It's engaging with your presence, nodding with intention, making soft eye contact, reflecting their emotions without words. It's asking the kind of questions that show you were paying attention, not just waiting to respond. It's reacting not to impress, but to encourage. That subtle curiosity makes people feel seen, and when people feel seen around you, they want to be around you more. Listening isn't passive, it's powerful. It signals maturity, emotional intelligence, and confidence. It shows that you're not trying to prove anything, and you're not threatened by someone else having the floor. That's rare, that's calming, and that's deeply attractive. People can feel when your attention is real and when it's not. They can sense when you're tuned in or distracted. So when you show up fully with no agenda, just a genuine willingness to hear and understand, people are drawn to that. It's a soft power, one that builds trust fast and leaves a lasting impression. Because in the end, being a great listener makes others feel valuable. And the people who do that silently are the ones we never forget. Emotional control is one of the strongest signals of inner strength. It doesn't mean being emotionless or detached. It means being able to feel everything, but not let those emotions control your behavior. In a world where people react impulsively, lose their temper easily, and wear their stress on their sleeves, someone who remains composed in the middle of chaos stands out immediately. And it's not just impressive, it's incredibly attractive. Think about the last time you saw someone lose control over something small. It doesn't take much. A rude comment, a delay, a disagreement, and suddenly the person snaps, defends, overreacts. Now contrast that with someone who gets challenged, criticized, or faced with uncertainty, and they respond with calm, measured presence. That's power, that's leadership, that's silent confidence, and that's the kind of emotional energy people feel drawn to because it makes them feel secure. When you can manage your emotions, you stop giving away your power. You stop letting the outside world dictate your inner world. You stop reacting to triggers and start responding with purpose. And in social settings, that's magnetic, because people instinctively trust those who don't get easily flustered or thrown off. They sense that you're in control, not of them, but of yourself, and that creates a ripple effect. Your calm becomes contagious. Your presence becomes a stabilizer. Emotional control also communicates maturity. It shows that you've done the inner work, that you don't need to prove yourself or defend your ego every time something challenges you. That quiet strength is what makes people lean in. It makes you the person others turn to when things go sideways, because your calm signals safety, and safety is rare. When someone knows you won't explode, panic, or make things about you, they feel more open. More trusting, more connected. The best part, you don't have to say anything to communicate emotional control. It's in your breathing, your body language, your tone, the pause before you respond, the ability to take a beat instead of jumping into conflict. That stillness in your energy becomes your signature. You become the person who can walk into any situation, tense, emotional, or unpredictable, and still hold your ground with grace. And that silent strength is a level of attractiveness that can't be faked. There's something irresistibly attractive about someone who doesn't do too much, someone who doesn't need to be everywhere, say everything, or be involved in every conversation to leave an impact. That's the power of purposeful minimalism. In a world that constantly glorifies excess, oversharing, over-explaining, overcompensating, the person who moves with restraint, who speaks only when it matters, and who acts with precision becomes a magnetic force. They become memorable not because they flood the space, but because they leave just enough room to spark curiosity. People often think the way to stand out is to add more personality, more noise, more opinions. But the truth is, the most compelling people are often those who subtract. They strip away the need to be everything for everyone. They understand that every gesture, every word, every presence carries energy. So they don't waste it, they move through the world with intention. That kind of deliberate energy is powerful because it suggests discipline, control, and clarity. And when you watch someone like that, you can't help but wonder what's behind that silence, that calm confidence, that air of not needing to prove anything. This kind of minimalism isn't just about speaking less, it's about showing up with purpose. They don't post for attention. They don't speak to fill silence. They don't do things to be seen. They do things because they mean them, and that authenticity is rare. They become a mirror that reflects quality over quantity in everything. How they dress, how they communicate, how they handle conflict, how they invest their time. Nothing is random. Everything is aligned. Minimalism also creates mystery, and mystery is deeply attractive. When someone doesn't immediately open every door, when they don't feel the need to over-explain who they are or what they've done, people lean in. They pay closer attention. They want to know more, not because they're being convinced, but because they're being quietly invited. Purposeful minimalism creates space for curiosity, and curiosity drives connection. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room. You just need to be the most intentional. When your presence, your words, and your actions all say, "I know who I am," people feel that, and they're drawn to it. Because in a world that's always trying to add more, the one who masters the art of doing less, but doing it well, becomes unforgettable. So let's get one thing clear. Being silently attractive isn't about playing small. It's about playing smart. It's about knowing that real power doesn't need a spotlight. Real confidence doesn't demand attention, and real connection doesn't come from performance. It comes from presence, from energy, from intention. Every habit we've talked about, calm confidence, emotional control, authentic listening, powerful body language, purpose over noise, they're not just behaviors, they're choices. And they compound quietly, day after day, and the more you live in alignment with them, the less you'll need to chase anything, people, respect, attention. It'll all start to gravitate toward you naturally. Because when you become the kind of person who knows who they are, who moves through the world without needing applause, who leads without forcing, who connects without oversharing, and who listens more than they speak, you become the person others feel safe around. Drawn to, intrigued by, and inspired to become like. This isn't about manipulation. This is about mastery of your energy, your emotions, your presence, and the moment you shift from trying to impress to simply being, your world will change. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to perform to be magnetic. You just need to show up, grounded in your worth, clear on your values, and intentional with your presence. And let me tell you, when you do that, you'll stop wondering why some people just have it. Because now, you'll be it. Don't try to be interesting, be interested. Don't try to be noticed, be present. Don't try to chase attraction, embody it. And as you walk out into the world after this, remember, your silence can speak louder than words. Your presence can fill a room, and your energy, when aligned, is the most attractive thing about you. Now go be the kind of person people feel before they even hear you, the kind of person they remember long after you've left the room.